Select board to order at 6:30 p.m. on Monday, February 26, 2024. Please join me in saluting the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show all selectmen are present. Let us see, consent agenda warrant, AP warrant number 22, dated 2/12/2024. Payroll register number 6, dated 2/8/24, and number 7, 2/15/24. Looking for a motion and a second to accept, please.
I'll make a motion to accept the AP warrant as presented and payroll register. I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to accept the payroll, the AP warrant and the payroll register as read. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Acceptance of the meeting minutes of the select board meeting on February 12th, 2024.
Motion to accept the minutes of February 24.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the select board meeting on February 12th, 2024. All those in favor? One abstention. We have 4 in favor, 1 abstention. Looks like it passes. Old business. What? From a previous meeting? Mrs. Esther? Mr. Moody?
No, sir.
Mr. Mean? Mr. Mean was not here. He doesn't get it. All right. Okay, items of communication. Town manager has on here the report on budget and expenses, which you have in your hands.
Yep.
Anything else, Mrs. Town manager?
So,
Good?
just the living well reports.
Oh, yes, we also have the living well report.
Yep.
All right. Okay, new business. This time I'd like to open the public hearing. An informative hearing regarding policing in Madison, opportunity for citizens to ask questions and speak of their concerns. So we will entertain anybody who would like to speak. We will give you time to speak on the policing. If you have a specific incident that the sheriff should check into, please talk to him privately. And we're looking at we're looking for comments on continuing with Madison, the Madison division of the sheriff's office. All right, we'll start. This is Town Manager. Do you want to start, or do you want the sheriff to?
I would like to introduce Sheriff Lancaster and ask if he has any remarks that you'd like to start with.
I have no remark. Thank you very much, Town Manager. My name is Dale Lancaster, and I am your sheriff. So I'll entertain questions that you might have.
The only comment I would have is, I never heard you with no remarks, Sheriff. So we'll let her anybody, any public comment? Yes, go ahead.
Could somebody please describe what we currently are getting for what we're paying, I guess?
Yep.
What's the current contract between the county and the town?
Sheriff, would you like to go through that?
Sure. We have 3 shifts that we run, and a deputy is assigned to Madison during that shift, and that's the model that we're employing right now. So you have 3 deputies. You have a deputy assigned per shift to the town, and you have a 32-hour administrative assistant that works in the office during the week.
And it's my understanding that the town has bought for or paid for some cruisers for those individuals?
So what happens now? In the past, those cars came out of separate capital account for Madison. The cost now incorporates all that. We buy all the cars and all the equipment that goes in those cars. And the equipment in those cars are almost as expensive as the cars themselves.
What would you say, accounting-wise or whatever, as far as what's the department's biggest contributor to, or what's their main calls or whatever they're getting for in the town of Madison.
Well, I think in the town report, you had, we stopped 631 cars in the town last year. We covered 253 motor vehicle crashes, did property checks, 77 theft complaints, and we had 131 people that walked into the office last year to do police business. But we have, you will handle domestics, and there's a lot of civil issues that are associated with.
But if the town opted out of, say they didn't want to put the money in the budget this year, would the Somerset County still be obligated to cover those concerns and those issues?
So the short answer is yes. We would answer calls, but this past year we had over 18,000 calls for service in this county, and it might be a while before a deputy would get to your complaint.
But the deputy that they're paying for, that the town's paying for, I mean, if they're in the town and they don't have a call on the books, but say they get one in Anson or North Anson or any place else in the county, and they feel that person should go to that call, they would go from Madison to that.
So the answer to that question is that this past year, we've had some severe staffing shortages. So I'm going to maximize the deputy's time. And if that means taking him out of town for a few minutes or to take care of an issue, absolutely. We have been very aggressive with our hiring. I think we have 3 positions opening right now. And we're hoping to fill that. My ultimate goal is to have 2 deputies on each side of the county, if we split the county, and a deputy assigned to Madison. So that when we
But
got
that's been the ongoing problem since COVID, isn't it? Is
Well,
staffing shortages or
well,
whatever?
there's a lot of reasons for staffing shortage in the United States right now.
So I mean,
The state police right now, I believe, have 43 openings. It's the culture right now is not conducive for young men and women to take on this vocation.
And then the other part of that, for the state police, is they pull back from the interstate.
Well, so
For the
the
most
state
part.
police have reorganized. They are now manning the interstate supposedly 24/7, which is taken away from rural patrol. And so the increase, I had last year, I had anticipated our calls for service might go up about 1,500, and it actually turns out to be around 3,000.
Any other comments? Yes.
I'm just thinking that some of the population or community in the community doesn't realize the cost that we are already paying the county. We get a normal appropriation every year. That was over $800,000 this past year. We're spending another 600, close to, for leasing. So that kind of puts us at the 3rd highest paying town in this Somerset County. And the other surrounding towns that are getting services from the Somerset County Sheriff's Department aren't anteing up for these extra services. It's within their commitment that they're getting annually. I'm just not so sure that all of the people, all the community people know how much we're really paying to Somerset County.
Mr. Curtis?
So if I can just clarify what Trish was talking about there. Madison does pay between $800,000 and $900,000 towards their county taxes. $500,000 of that's for the jail. About $200,000 of that tax appropriation actually funds the sheriff's office. Everything else kind of split up between all the other departments of the county. So yeah, if you add the $580,000 that you paid this year plus $200,000, you're paying close to $800,000 for policing services. But if you compare that to what Pittsfield pays and what Skowhegan pays and what Fairfield pays, it's still significantly less.
Tim, are those numbers figured on per capita, or is it valuation, or?
It's both.
Okay.
So Madison pays about 6.5% of the overall county budget. You know, Solon pays 2%, Anson pays 4%. So they take your valuation, your population, and they break it down that way.
Come up with a number.
Okay, any other comments? Any other comments?
So, back when we had our meeting before, I had asked if you could do a report of the assigned officer. And it kind of got like, could you do it for a cost? Well, that was never my original question, okay? We already pay, because we pay for an administrator for 32 hours. So that person already does the report as far as, as far as I'm aware. That's what part of her job is. I just want to know where the officer that is assigned, I would like to see it in our monthly report to know if it's officer number 226, I would like to see every call that officer goes to, whether it's in our town or another town. I would just like to see where that officer is every time that person's called. Because, okay, I've only gone on the log a couple of different times because people from outside have brought it to my attention, and I'm not gonna sit there and go through the log all the time. However, it appeared, the time that I went through the log, that the officer that I would have thought that was assigned to us, because of that's where that person was called at 6 o'clock in the morning, say really early in the morning, and it was a Madison call. And if you kind of followed through, all of a sudden now Madison's got another call answered by another officer. And this officer originally ends up showing up back in Madison to have a call at some point. I'm not gonna do the whole thing, I don't want to do that, but I'm just saying somebody brought it to my attention, I looked at the log, and I kind of followed through a little bit.
Do you also want the hundreds of hours that was the Big Apple investigation, that armed robbery where we arrested, the criminal division arrested 3 people? Do you want those hours also that we provide for the town?
Well, you would do that anyways, because that's part of our original cost that we already pay. So you would have to cover that anyways, whether you had an assigned officer to that or not. Whether we were paying for the assigned officer, you're still gonna have to cover that. The county will still cover that, because you would in any other town.
Any other comments?
Is there any comment from anybody on, line? We get some comments in the chat, let me just go there. Did you guys not hear any of the audio?
Just heard that first.
I'm just gonna have to ask your questions over again.
I can't remember what it is. Play it back.
Alright. I apologize for that. Okay.
So this going now?
No, it's just me. Okay.
Switch part forward.
I'm waiting to see if anybody has questions.
We also provided this year, all your schools were given ALICE training. That's something we haven't done in the county to the rest of the county. There has been here and there, but we ensured that all schools were given that training in the town of Madison this past year.
So, I'm not involved with the schools much, could you please explain what that is?
It's, Alice training has to do with, active shooter training and how, it, for the kids and the teachers, prior to us getting there.
That was done at one of our workshop days.
Right,
Mike Pike did that.
right.
Okay. There's still no sound, and I can't figure out why there's no sound. And I'm a techie, I'm sorry. So, there's a question on a rumor that the old Taylor's building is reportedly being purchased by Arcadia. Is that
Thank you.
appropriate to discuss now?
No, they can ask that during citizens' concerns if they want
Okay,
it on.
I'll bring it up during citizens' concerns.
Sheriff, I just was wondering, we talked before about a school resource officer. Is that something that can be on the table for this year coming up?
So I know that the county administrator and your town manager have been in conversation. And what I've told you from the inception of this, we will build the model that you want, what you want. And if you want an SRO, there's a cost to that, obviously. But we're willing to work with you. We just worked with SAD 54 and for an SRO for Norge Walk and Canaan. We started today.
I mean, I'd like to see us work towards that. I mean, I don't know if it'll be this year or not. I mean, if the
Yeah,
county
absolutely.
administrator and our town manager and our
Absolutely.
school
It's,
superintendent can talk. I think that would be a good thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more that we,
You do have to have the right person.
right, no, that's part of the equation, but it's also important that we harden these schools so they're not soft targets.
Yes.
So is the cost of an SRO like this, is it the same cost? I know you said they had to be trained just like a regular officer, but is the cost for an SRO the same? cost?
Yeah, basically, the state of Maine has requirements for an SRO. They actually have an SRO certification now, but it has to do with your hours that you work between a part-time and a full-timer, and anything over 1040 hours is considered a full-time, and you have to go to the full-time academy, and then they fall within the union after that, and they get paid, they get compensated at that union rate, negotiated rate. And finding the right person, you're exactly right, Mr. Chairman, is that we have to find the right person. Because if it's a different type of policing.
Dale, how many SROs does Skeleton have? One or two?
They have one right now, and the county just entered into a contract with them for Norge Walk and Canaan. So SAD 54 has two, Skeleton has one.
All right, I see no other comments, so I'll declare the public hearing closed, and we'll move on. Thank you very much, Sheriff.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Deputy Sheriff?
What time?
Deputy Chief, correct?
Says
Chief Deputy, I'm sorry. I got
6:20?
corrected. Yes.
6:20?
6:18.
Yep, 6:18.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Number 2, to seek volunteers for the Budget Advisory Board. This is basically a shout out to people. If you have any interest in being on the Budget Advisory Board, please let the town manager know, and she will make a list, and we will consider that at the next meeting. Somebody to be on. We've had one person that has declined us. So if you have, we do need one person, because I believe we need 15
Yep.
in order to have a full slate of people.
Yep.
I believe that's in the ordinance that says that. All right, so that's all on that. All right, citizens' concerns, are there any? We do have one.
Yes, so the question was raised. I'd like to address the rumor fact that the old Taylor's building is reportedly being purchased by Arcadia for a methadone clinic.
My knowledge from this morning, I didn't know anything really before this, is that is being purchased by Arcadia. I can't go any further than that. That's not my place or our place to do that. So it is being purchased by Arcadia.
Okay.
Mr. Sorry, Sheriff, yes.
Mr. Sheriff, so I'd like to, under that concern, and I don't know if there's a correlation or not, but I'd like to introduce Betsy Richards. She worked for Somerset Heart Health. It's a partnership that we just did, and one of the things was that she opened up an office in Madison.
Yes,
So if you allow her to speak.
Sure, yeah, no, yep.
sure, thank you. So I have it's called the Community Connection Center, right across the hall, actually. I am here every Thursday from 1 to 4 to help connect people to treatment and recovery resources. So we have, we can provide folks with Narcan, we can provide them with some testing strips, some drug testing strips to make sure that folks are safe, and then we also are able to get them, when folks come in or family members come in, we can help get them connected to the treatment and recovery supports that they need.
Thank you.
And that was a partnership that we did with Somerset Heart Health. I don't know if there's any correlation there with that question or concern.
What's it? The question comes about the rumor of who's buying Taylor's, right? So,
Okay.
and so that's
Gotcha.
that's where that comes from. And we've been informed this morning that it is being purchased by Acadia Health.
Yep.
Mr. Curtis?
So just to that end, there's always a lot of chatter on social media in that regard, just saying stuff that you already know. The town has nothing to do with the private purchase of property, and so they don't have to do any permitting as far as I know, and they don't have to follow through with anything. It's just a simple matter of, it's a transaction between a private company and a private individual. The other thing that's important to keep in mind is they are going to offer a wide variety of counseling and services, some that may overlap with what Somerset Public Health offers. But the reason they're buying it is because it's needed. People that need this type of treatment, whether it be methadone or not, have to travel far outside our area to get that treatment. So I caution the folks on social media about running too far with this and assuming that the town can do something to stop it, because really it's just a private transaction.
All right, any other citizens' concerns?
But it'd be my understanding they're a nonprofit organization, thus you're gonna take that $500,000 property off the tax rolls, and the town of Madison will have to assume it again.
I don't know that they're nonprofit. I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, we have no other information other than who's buying it, so that's not, maybe that will come later. I mean, I know before the planning board, maybe at some point. So, yes.
There will be some permitting,
Right.
what's the word?
Permitting.
Permitting, yeah. For reconstruction, for refurbishing, rebuilding or whatever inside, remodeling. If they need to do plumbing, which I understand there's only one bathroom in there, so to make it ADA, they'll probably have to put in another bathroom, so they'll have to have plumbing permits, and then it will have to go before the planning board and public hearing.
Okay, so I mean, that's later. We don't have an application.
It wouldn't matter who purchased it.
Right, that's all we know is who purchased it. All right, looking at selectmen's concerns. Mr. Gillette? Mrs. Esty? Mr. Moody? Mr. Beam? I have none. Looking for a motion to go into executive session pursuant to a personnel matter pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056A.
Motion to go
All right, we have a motion to go into executive session to pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056A. Personnel matter. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. We're in executive session, 6:25.